This episode of the Fab Forums is brought to you by Kill Fab Clothing Company. Find all the latest Fab Forums merch at killfab.com. Trying to clean up the movie theater, set up just a little bit so I can get to work on the Bibbster. Check this thing out. This thing is like so rad. It's like, well, I don't know, 13 foot wide, probably seven foot tall. This one's actually borrowed. I actually bought one though that I gotta make a frame for. This one is all motorized. It actually comes up out of this box. I don't really need all that. Just need something I can put up when I want to put it up. So anyway, kind of clean it up. I want to get a bunch done on the Bibbster today. Top. So I just got this laying up here so I can put the projector on it. But I actually want to make a top for this thing. I want to start welding some of these panels in, get rid of some of these clecos. Just really start getting some stuff done on this thing. I've kind of been, well, there's a saying that goes, perfection is the enemy of done, or perfection is the enemy of good. And that's kind of where I'm at on this thing right now. I'm so particular about all the little things that I do on this build that it's really slowing me down. It's actually crippling me in some instances, and a lot of it won't even be seen. So I got to get over that. I just got to get to like getting stuff done, and then the little things, once it's really close to done, the little things that bother me, I can go back and fix those or change them or cover them up or whatever. So that's the plan. Roof skin. I've already started working on clutch cable, throttle cable. So I just bought a universal throttle cable from Low Car. Got this thing kind of mocked up already. Clutch cable's in. Got to make a bracket, or actually I already have a bracket for it. I just got to get it welded on. Like I said, start finishing up some of these panels back here. The only thing I don't know is I've kind of thought about putting aluminum on the top, but I think on this build, the theme, I want to keep the interior aluminum, so the whole interior will be aluminum, the whole exterior will be steel. So I think I'm gonna go steel on it. I've also tried to kind of think about whether I wanted to quilt it or not. So got some quilting on the firewall up here. Thought about doing that, kind of continuing that up into this top piece here. Do some quilting on it. So I think it would look cool if I could pull it off. I've also got all the hydraulics mounted. They're not mounted, but mocked up. So that's the actual hydraulic tank and pump. So the pump's right behind it. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, there you go. So the pump's in there, the tank. I'm gonna have to modify the tank just a little bit because it's really close to the seat. And then on the other side, over on the passenger side, which you can't see, I've got the battery in there. So gonna mount the battery behind the passenger seat. Yeah, the one thing I've got to really be careful of is that this body is gonna have to come off forever. So I got to be really careful about how I'm mounting stuff. I don't want to mount something that's gonna keep this body from coming off. The main reason the body needs to come off is to service the radiator. So the radiator in there and the shrouding, if I needed to service that radiator, if I were to mount all this stuff in here, there's no way to get it out. So I need to make it to where the shroud will come apart, I can get the body off, and then the radiator can come out. Which actually, to be honest with you, if I could just make the shroud where it can come out, I could probably get the radiator out. So maybe that's what I do. Maybe I mount the body permanently once I'm ready. Just make it where this radiator shroud can be disassembled and taken out. So at this point, cleaning this thing is not so much about looks as it is just getting all the grit off it, because when I stick it over here in the English wheel, the last thing you want to do is roll grit through this thing. When you do, it will unpolish basically these wheels. And you can already see where, you know, these things have kind of been worn. They need to be polished. What will happen is these English wheels, it will basically print whatever's on this wheel right onto your material. So if the wheel is shiny, when you roll that material through there, even if the material is not shiny, if you roll it through there enough, it'll actually make the material itself shiny. If the wheels are gritty and, you know, porous, even if the material is nice and clean, when you start rolling that thing through there, it's gonna make the material all gritty and porous looking. So to kind of save my wheels and you know, not make this thing look too bad, cleaned it up best I could on both sides. I'm gonna lay out some measurements now, get it cut, and then we'll start wheeling it. So I think I got how I want it as far as the shape goes. Still don't know if I'm gonna quilt it or what I'm gonna do, but what I do know is I want to put a little bit of shape in it right now, just to kind of get a little bit of the contour. Probably gonna have to go shrink some of the edges on this thing on the front and the back, but for now we're just gonna roll it a little bit. We'll leave this bad boy up, put it in the English wheel, get it rolled. All right, so the top is cut. I got it rolled. I kind of made a mess out of it with the wheel because it's such a big piece that anytime this thing would kind of lean over on the edge of the wheel, it'd make a mark in it. I think it can be salvageable. I think it can be salvaged. I know it can be salvaged. I also had to clean it up, maybe planish it. I'm gonna actually roll it some more too because it needs a little more shape, but I don't need to do anything right now to this because it won't fit on here like it needs to because of these clecos. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start cutting some of these panels away in here, start lining this stuff up, start tack welding all of this stuff together, all these sheets, get rid of all these clecos. And then once I get all that done and kind of cleaned up, then I can get back to that top piece. I can lay it on here and work it some more. So got everything kind of tacked together. So I got these panels tacked on. You can kind of see the transition there. Turned out not too bad. I mean, everything's dirty and gonna have to be cleaned up, but that's it. No more clecos needed. So, and I'll probably come in here and probably put some contours in these corners as well as I kind of finish it out. But now I can lay the top on it. So you can see the top laid on it. And what I need to do is I need to figure out, so rolling it, I put a little bit of contour in it. Maybe you can see it or maybe you can't, but it's not quite enough. I want some more contour in it, and then I'm gonna have to shrink the back a bunch. So this thing's gonna have to come way down so I can kind of curve this over. A little more shrinking up here as well. A lot more rolling in the middle. Got a lot of work to do, and it's actually pretty tough too because the panel's just too big for me to handle. I mean, I can do it, like shrinking it, I can do it, but it's tough. And then even rolling it in the English wheel, you know, I've made some marks on this thing that I'm gonna have to get out. Should roll out or planish out, but the panel's just a little bit too big. So you can see that it's pretty easy to get in the shrinker, but it's kind of difficult to hold it and then operate the pedal. All right, guys, I think that's it for me today. It's been a long day. That English wheel is better than a gym membership. I mean, especially on a big piece like this where you're having to hold it. So just kind of give you a little insight. So like when I circle these sections, that's a low section still. So I need to roll that, try to pop it. Same thing with this one. And then the little negatives are where I need to shrink it. So I need to shrink that thing right there. It's got a little place that's up. Couple spots up here in the front need to be shrunk just to kind of bring that down. And then there's a section over here that needs to be kind of shrunk. I need to be able to do something with this material here. So yeah, we're getting close. Getting pretty close. There's another little low spot right there. So there you go. I mean, it's starting to look a lot better. Not too sure about the doors, but yeah. Definitely looks cleaner with a roof skin on it. So at one point I thought about bead rolling this thing and putting some crosshatch in it, very similar to what I got on the firewall up here. You could kind of make it look like it has a fabric top to it, but I think if I can get this thing pretty smooth and the right shape to it, because I want to give it a lot more shape back here in the back. If I can give it the shape that I want, and I'm pretty satisfied with it, I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. This thing with a nice clean top on it, I just think has a really good business look. Business look? Oh, that's right. Anyway, this looks nice and clean. So anyway, see you guys on the next one. Go do work, son.